All right, hey everyone. Welcome to another private Q&A session with Tone Vays. Today is Monday, July 26th. This is the first Q&A session of the week. We got a bunch of questions. Some of them are, of course, political and COVID related. Let's tackle a few of those first, and then we're gonna get onto the charts. Let's mix it up a little bit. Okay. Um, why do you think governments are pumping and promoting vaccines? I don't know. I don't know why, but it's obvious that they are. Like, it's definitely not for your health. Like, that's obvious. Well, like, the government doesn't give a shit about your health. They care about your health to the point that you pay them more taxes. Other than that, they don't really care. Okay, so I don't know. I don't know what it is, but there's clearly an agenda to push vaccines onto people, onto children. Um, I'm not going to get into the conspiracy theories. I've heard them all. How the vaccines will reduce population over time. How the vaccines make women sterile, so you can't have kids. Like, these are, like, I have no idea. Like, there is some science behind it. I've seen some videos on it. I'm not going to speculate. I don't have the expertise to know, but it's very obvious that there is an agenda for everyone to take a vaccine. And pharmaceutical companies would make a lot of money, but I have no idea. I don't know. I just know that there is a vaccine agenda, and I want no part of it. My friends talk to many Chinese people. In China, there is no COVID spreading now. Uh, yeah, that makes sense. Look, COVID is spreading because everyone is testing. Well, like, no one's really dying from COVID anymore. And if you saw my tweet this morning, the COVID tests cannot tell the difference between COVID and the flu. So you gotta, and since there have been zero flu cases in the last 12 months, you gotta assume that 80 to 90% of all the COVID cases are just flu cases. So I'm not surprised that there is no COVID in other countries, because they're not lying to you about how many people actually have COVID. COVID is effectively non-existent in China. That makes total sense. Um, why do you think that is the case? Well, that's the case, right? Because they don't care to test for it. Like, if there's no testing, then there's no virus. Like, it's everyone is scared because of the tests. No one is talking about COVID deaths anymore. Remember, no one is talking about COVID deaths. Look at Australia. One person died in their 80s, and they're shutting down the country. It's insane. Um, why would COVID not be? Well, I think I answered that. Yeah. Remember, prior to 2020, COVID in textbooks referred to the common cold. A cold was referred to as COVID. Like, it's a general term. It's not really a name for a virus. It's just that everything was just so messed up to mislead people and confuse people. What are your views on the UBI? I think it's stupid. Paying people not to work is destruction for your economy. Last one, then we're going to go to charts. Can we also transfer USD on the Lightning Network? How is Strike exactly doing that? I don't know. I've never used Strike. I've never used Strike. So uh, so you can send USD, and then um, you get Bitcoin, right? So Strike allows you, like, that backwards conversion. So someone can pay you in someone can pay you in USD, and it gives you Bitcoin. Thank you. Got my tea. Okay. Yeah, just go to the website of Strike. Like, I've never really used Strike. I'm not a big Lightning user, guys. I'm going to be, but I'm not a big Lightning user yet. Okay, let's do a couple of charting questions, and then we can get back to politics. As I understand your thoughts on GBTC, is that if Bitcoin goes up from here slow, then likely no big pullback. But if Bitcoin goes up fast, then likely pullback. Is that correct? Well, this has nothing to do with GBTC, but Yes, that is generally correct. So the faster Bitcoin goes up into the death cross, the more likely it will be to get rejected right here for two reasons. One, it would have gone up too far too fast. And two, it's double resistance right now. As I showed in the public stream, the more spread out these two moving averages are, I don't want to go all the way back to 2014, right? I'm just looking for the prior area. The more spread out these two moving averages are, the more likely they will be to, the more likely Bitcoin is to break them. One at a time, of course. It's easier to break these one at a time than together. Okay? Just think trying to break two boards next to each other. Is it easier to break them when they're sitting next to each other, or is it easier to separate them so you can break them one at a time? Okay? So yeah, if we go up too far too fast, there's going to be a pullback. But I am very confident that the summer low is in. I'm very confident Bitcoin ain't going any lower than this close and this swing low. And it would be beautiful if it does that right off the MRI buy. That'd be awesome. Oh, I wasn't screen sharing, was I? Oh, that sucks. Let's do that. All right. So the faster we go into these moving averages, the easier of a trade it is to short it back down. But if we go up, if we break this resistance, then I think the 50 period moving average will now be support. See, the 50 moving average, we've been under the 50 period moving average pretty much since April. And we're finally back above it. And it should now act as support. And I still think 100K by end of year. Oh, trying to figure out when to buy GBTC, now or later. Let's see what GBTC opened this morning. Whoa. God damn. Yeah. Yeah, that's a big gap. That is a big gap. See, I'm 75% in. So I'm going to stay a little bit patient and I'm not going to rush into it. I'm going to expect us to have a pullback at some point this week. So I'd rather buy the pullback. But I'm also already 75% invested. And this is my line. And Bitcoin and GBTC will break this line. The premium will break that line. This was my buy the dip on GBTC. We didn't quite make it there. This was my buy the breakout, but we hopped over it. Way over it. Way over it. Yeah, I would stay a little bit patient. I see some people referring to the last few days' move in the price of Bitcoin as a short squeeze. Is this really a short squeeze? Yeah, I mean, a short squeeze certainly helps Bitcoin prices go up. Short squeezes are very good for the market. There's nothing wrong with a short squeeze. Short squeeze definitely has the opportunity to reverse a bear trend to the upside. A short squeeze is basically there's too many leveraged shorts and they have to cover those trades. Even though it's a shitcoin, can you take a look at NEO? Yeah, we can take a look at NEO. Do I have it? Do I have NEO? I should still be on screen share, I think. Shitcoins. I have NEO. So NEO versus the dollar just hit a brand new yearly low. And this looks bad. How close did it get to an MRI buy? What about versus Bitcoin? I don't like that chart. See, versus Bitcoin, it made a new low this morning. I wouldn't touch it. I wouldn't touch it. It still has too much of a bearish trend. Versus USD, it's just a bearish trends everywhere. It did not break its prior swing high from July, and I believe Bitcoin did. Not yet. I don't know. Nothing that interesting in that chart. Not a fan. All right, let's pause the screen share. And got a few social and political questions. What are your opinions on smuggling of things that are not bad for health? Like general things, excluding drugs. I mean, look, when the government makes hydroxychloroquine illegal, hydroxychloroquine, which saves lives with Segwit, saves lives with COVID. I mean, it's a choice people make. I mean, governments are not looking out for your best interests. Almost never. Almost never. They have their own agendas. I mean, it's up to you to decide what to do. You know, it's obviously a risk. Does red meat cause cancer in your opinion? No, absolutely not. In my opinion, red meat does not cause cancer. If anything, I think it helps prevent it. That's my opinion. Non-professional, non-medical opinion. I plan to continue to eat meat and not vegetables other than garlic, ginger. Like, it better be one hell of a powerful vegetable for me to eat it, and in very small amounts. I don't want to put my digestive system through processing tree bark. Okay, that's how I see vegetables now. To me, I don't really see a difference between a piece of celery and the bark of a tree. Like, I go to a tree right there and I take off a bark of a tree, and eating that and eating celery, I don't see that much of a difference. So there's obviously a difference, but I'll eat vegetables in the smallest of quantities. Like I said, garlic, ginger, turmeric, things like that. Maybe a little bit of onion, tiny bit. That's it. That's all my vegetable intake. Where do you think is the best place to see relation between long and short on the Bitcoin? I like the funding rate, which I didn't look at today. I like the funding rate. I don't like the leverage longs and shorts on Bitfinex because I don't really trust the Bitfinex. So I would look at the funding rate. All right, back to COVID-19. On COVID-19 vaccination, is Singapore, in Singapore, we'll need vaccination proof for restaurants and gyms. Well, Singapore is basically dead. I know people that are moving out of Singapore. I used to love going to Singapore. There are countries I will probably never visit again. My favorite hotel in the world, and I've been to a lot of hotels, my favorite hotel in the world is in Singapore. It is the Marina Bay Sands. My favorite bar is at the top of that hotel. My favorite swimming pool is at that hotel. Okay. Spago is my favorite bar. They have the best mixed drinks I've had. So goodbye, Singapore. Like, I'll miss it, but there's other places in the world to enjoy. I'll miss Hong Kong as well. Probably will not be back in Hong Kong for different reasons. So, I mean, if Singapore wants to do that to their population, I mean, it's up to them. It's up to the people. Do they want to stay and live in Singapore? Or do they want to move? I like what France is doing. I like what Italy's doing. People are protesting. People are protesting, and they're not covering it. Australia is starting to protest. and the news doesn't cover it. Like the news has become such propaganda. Joe Biden is a disgrace. Joe Biden is a embarrassment. He's standing on stage saying the vaccine prevents you from catching COVID, which is an outright lie. The vaccine does not prevent you from catching COVID. We know this. Uh, Most people that are catching COVID now have had the vaccine, and yet they're still gonna prevent unvaccinated people from going to restaurants. Um, I'm tempted to open a restaurant that say only unvaccinated people allowed, but I would lose money, right? Like, why would I cut off half my business? There would be a sign that says unvaccinated people can come in and eat, but you're not welcome. Just a general question on platforms like Interactive Brokers or otherwise also, can we cancel our limit orders placed on weekends or after markets are closed? Yes, absolutely, 100%. Right, you can cancel an order anytime. Could you have a look at the daily Amazon chart? Yep, I will. Let me see if there's any other questions that don't require camera. How soon, in your opinion, could Australian society break down? I think it's already breaking down. I think Australian society is already breaking down. Starting to have riots there. I don't know. Australia is a mess. Again, a country I'll probably never go to again. And I really like Brisbane. Sydney's okay. Montreal. Melbourne has some nice spots. Brisbane has been my favorite city in Australia. And again, no desire to ever go to Australia. No desire to ever go to Canada. My favorite sauna spot. I'm a big sauna guy. Like mostly like Russian bathhouses. Korean are okay, but like the Russian bathhouse saunas. My favorite one is in Toronto, and probably never gonna go there again. It sucks. It really sucks. Yeah. I have friends that were living in Singapore. They're gone. They're gone. Uh, Singapore was an incredible place. Absolutely like a global miracle, basically. And I think they destroyed it. I think they destroyed it. eBay and AMD. Yep, we'll take a look at those. And you have your personal opinions on tips for healthier sleep. Uh, thermal regulated. But I so that's a good question. Good sleep. So you need to buy a good pillow. You'd be surprised how much a pillow matters for good sleep. You want a pillow like this. Now, it doesn't have to be this exact one. I'm just saying, like, the day I bought this pillow is the day I started to sleep better and like all my neck and shoulder problems went away. So it may not be this brand. They're all similar, but this is what you want. Like it's also just it's simple. It's like what 30, 40 bucks. So something like this. You can sleep on it sideways. You can sleep on it, you know, head up, however you sleep. So this helped me a lot to sleep better. Okay. So they have them in different sizes. I mean, it's up to you. You can order a few of them and then ship some back, whatever you prefer, right? And like I said, I just randomly Googled for this. You can look at reviews of other companies that do this. This helps a lot. Okay. Other than that, um, eat a few kiwis before bed. That helps with some sleep as well. Also, one of my top 3 most nutritious fruits that I eat. Nothing beats an avocado. but a kiwi is a great source of vitamin C, very healthy. Eat a couple of those. It'll also help you with your sleep. Try not to drink any caffeine. I made a mistake of having a cup of coffee yesterday at like 5, 6 o'clock, and I couldn't fall asleep for the life of me. That's what happens when you're not a coffee drinker. That's really my trick to sleep. And try to go to bed earlier. I mean, I kind of don't, but you want to be you want to use the sunlight. You know, you want to use like the your body clock and the sunlight for sleep. So when the sun goes down, it's time to go to sleep. All right, now let's go back to the charts. I actually really like these questions. All right, let's see what's next. Charts. Yeah, the mattress that I sleep on is absolutely terrible. God knows how many years it is. I also hate very soft beds. I like hard surfaces to sleep on. All right, Amazon, eBay, AMD. Let's do it. Oh, that looks like a disaster. Clicked on it by accident. Look, new lows. That's Cardano. All right, Amazon. You know, see, this one is rough because two perfect entries have been missed. You know, first you want to attempt to buy the breakout, and then you can buy the back test. But now it's tricky. This is a tough one. I mean, I still think Amazon will do well, but earnings is coming. I would stay away from it. Earnings is this week. I would stay away from this. Where is my... Oh, why did I use this? Shit. What was this? This is Bitcoin dominance. Crap. I didn't mean to change that. BTC.D. Yeah. Okay. Let's go to here. Oh, this is Amazon Weekly. Right. Yeah. See, the time to buy the breakout was earlier. It's not that much of a difference, you know, from the breakout. Probably only missed like 4 or 5%. Yep, 5%. But earnings is coming. I would stay away. I wouldn't touch it. I wouldn't touch it. Next, AMD and eBay. eBay. Oh, beautiful. Beautiful. I'm about to text my friends here because I know I kept telling them to stick with the eBay trade. You guys still long eBay? Man, you have to stay a little bit patient here through the MRI buy after the breakout, but man, that's paying off. Yeah, I mean, earnings is coming. I think, but you still have plenty of time, August 11th. So yeah, I think it still has room to run for an MRI top. AMD. AMD had a nice top here. I think it was an MRI top. It was. And a beautiful MRI bottom. Shit. Wow. Let me test them as well. What about AMD? Did you buy? I know they went short. You shorted the MRI top. Did you long the MRI bottom? Haha, no, they didn't do this one either. Yeah, too bad. Earnings is like tomorrow. So get out of this. But beautiful MRI top to an MRI bottom. Perfect MRI buy. All right, more questions. All right. Waiting for more questions, guys. Hey, so to the person that asked me these, are you in these trades? I mean, I can give you speaking privileges. Raise your hand if you want to tell me what your trades are in these. I'm assuming you're in those trades because I talked about these stocks weeks ago. So I'm assuming you got in, but I don't know what your positions are. So whoever asked me about these, because I already like removed the question, raise your hand and you can tell me, give me more detail on them. If you want. I got out Friday afternoon. Out of which one? Out of both of them, Patrick? Maybe get back into eBay today. Okay, so yeah, you're out of both. Okay, so you got out Friday afternoon. That's a good exit. I'm assuming you got in on the MRI buy, and for eBay, you also got out Friday afternoon. So if you got out Friday afternoon around the same price you got in at, yeah, you can get back in. Like that's fine. You still got room. Still got room for an MRI top, but there's other trades. There's always another trade coming. Yeah, you got in on the MRI buy. Perfect trade. All right, let me turn off some of your comments. For those with a cash position, where do you recommend buying spot Bitcoin? Well, this has now become a challenge. If you had a lot of cash, I mean, because I've been saying, like, this is a good time to just buy in if you don't have any to dollar cost average. We're so close to an MRI top. I would wait for a pullback. Like, I don't like to chase, but I've also got myself into missing out some crazy trades by not willing to chase. Some of which I really regret to this day. That's the thing. Like I can never recommend buying anything on the last stage of an MRI top. So I just can't recommend it. Can't recommend buying right now. But I'm bullish. If you're going to hold it for a long time, then you just got to get in. You can't take a chance. But if it's a short-term trade, I would wait and stay patient at this point. Yeah, in hindsight, this was the perfect entry right on the MRI. Hindsight's always perfect entries, but the indicator wasn't wrong. The indicator was right on the money. All right. In your personal opinion, what's the healthiest way to cook meat? As little as possible. I mean, there's some studies out there that say when you cook meat, you actually enhance the presence of vitamins and minerals, but I don't know. I'm still skeptical on that. You want to cook your meat as little as possible. Not that it should make a difference. I don't like to cook my meat much. I eat a lot of raw meat, but that's me. That's my preference. I eat a lot of raw beef, mostly raw beef, some raw pork. But you have to know where your meat comes from. So I like eating raw meat. I always get my steaks medium rare. I cook the liver very, very little. If I'm gonna cook meat, I'm just gonna make bone broth out of it. Just gonna suck all that out with bone broth. Yeah, I mean, you can't go wrong. It's eating meat, I think, is important. How you cook it is not as important as eating it. What are your thoughts on signals? Seems to work very well. I don't know what that means. Perhaps because not dedicated to a trade. Also timing. I don't know what you mean, signals. I mean, signals are everywhere. All right, guys, got about 5 more minutes. 5 more minutes. Then we're going to wrap this up. So if I was in charge of the government, like, look, I would just, like, if I was in charge of the government, well, it depends on which government, right? So if I was in charge of the US government, I would defend the Constitution of the United States because I think the Constitution was written very well, right? Um, if I was not in charge of the United States, I would try to institute a constitution for that country similar to the Constitution of the United States. The problem, the US has a very good constitution that limits the power of government and on its people and gives its people, freedom and protection from the government. Most other countries don't have a constitution like that. So it's a bit of a double-edged sword, right? In a way, the US gives the most rights to its people, but also the US has the most number of people in prison, which is a little bit of a contradiction. If the US Constitution makes it hard for the government to put you in prison, why is there so many people in a US prison? So it's a little bit of a contradiction there. So I believe almost every single amendment has been shredded. I would mandate that social media companies protect people's freedom of speech. Like, you cannot get banned. Like, if you get banned from YouTube or Twitter or Facebook, if you get banned from those places without a proper reason, without those companies, having a report. It could be an AI report. This person got banned because so and so is dangerous and harmful content, right? Otherwise, the government fines Facebook, a ridiculous amount of money, right? Like, if they can't defend it. So these platforms should be open to free speech. The government should be defending people's constitutional rights, okay, which they're not. Government's not defending people's constitutional rights. I like the Second Amendment. That one is kind of like New York City doesn't allow you to have any weapons, so you can't defend yourself if someone's going to mug you or whatever. So the Fourth Amendment has been completely shredded. Like, government spying of its own citizens needs to go completely. The Fourth Amendment is destroyed. I mean, it's things like that, right? So if it's another country, you want to institute some of these things. I already forgot what the question was. What would I do for the have-nots? I would allow them to have the same opportunities. Make it easier to get a license to do stuff, right? Maybe you don't even need licenses, right? Does a barber need a license? Probably not. So make it easier for them to open their businesses. lower taxes significantly. Significantly. Like, unless you're earning over $100,000 a year, you shouldn't be paying any taxes. Let the people earn their living. I don't even like taxes on income. I don't mind a consumption tax on luxury goods, you know. I mean, I guess that's okay. I mean, Dubai does it right. They put in a 5% value added tax, and that's the only tax. I still don't like it on small things, maybe on, higher priced items only, luxury items. You generally tax things you don't want people doing, okay? You don't want people smoking, you tax it. You don't want people drinking alcohol, you tax it, you know? You don't want too many boats, too many rich people having boats, you tax it, right? But what happens when you tax work? Makes you not want to work, okay? What happens if you tax investments? Makes you not want to invest. So DD is like, I mean, I'm okay with a minimal burden on taxes. I mean, I think cigarettes are very unhealthy. I would keep a high tax on that. It's medically, I mean, that shouldn't be an opinion that cigarettes are unhealthy. Oh, signals in a VIP type of group with entries. So, look, I'm not a fan of them, but here's what you have to do. You have to, you can use them, right? You can find a VIP group with signals, but you need to go real slow. Real slow. You better have some serious risk parameters. Remember, if you are trading somebody else's strategy, you are at a huge disadvantage. Huge disadvantage. So you can do it, but you have to follow all of the rules suggested, and you better only be using 5 to 10% of your assets, of your trading account. What all factors are actually depicted in the interest rate differentials in various countries? That's a tough question to answer. I'm not even sure I'm qualified to answer that question. I'm not a big interest rate guy. I never cared about interest rates. I just never did. Never cared about interest rates. It's never been my thing. All right, guys. I think that's it. Maybe I can show some stuff in the middle of this video for when it goes live to everyone over the weekend. So you can check out my calendar of where I'm traveling to over the next month or two. You can also keep an eye on Understanding Bitcoin Conference, where we plan to have an event in Dubai with some awesome speakers educating about how to use Bitcoin. Don't forget the Financial Summit for those of you that are into trading and want to spend a week with a bunch of traders and funds. And, well, you guys are in private Q&A, so you're already aware, and all of you have the MRI indicator, and you have watched my videos. Otherwise, probably wouldn't be in the Q&A unless you really care about my views on COVID and politics. All right, guys, thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all on the next one. All right, welcome back to another private Q&A session on this Wednesday, July 28th. The stock markets are open. We got a bunch of people. We got a lot of questions. And without further ado, we're going to jump right into it with a little bit of screen share. All the questions at the moment have to do with trading, not politics, not COVID. So let's go to the charts. First question is about Tilray. Here's the weekly chart of Tilray, and while the daily certainly looks cool, the weekly is not all that interesting. The weekly, what you have is a little bit of a downtrend. And man, I remember when this thing was like $5 last year. It ended up going all the way to 70, which is insane. But I don't like this chart. The weekly and the monthly are both bearish. We are on a 5 on the MRI. At least last time it did give you a reversal. It can do it again. But I also don't like this double bottom here. This double bottom on a weekly, and we'll see what that looks like on a daily as well. And I'm not comfortable with this, okay? I would rather buy it late than too early. I would rather buy the breakout at 20 than try to chase it here, even of good earnings. But let's see if the daily chart is better looking. You see going into today, and I'm not really sure why it popped today. Maybe it had earnings that TradingView isn't listing. But as you can see, we broke down the prior low, and if this was an earnings day, and we should probably Google Tilray. Is there a next earnings is October, current earnings date 10/8. That's October. I don't know. We can Google for it, but this is actually cool metrics right here. Anyway, I'm assuming this wasn't earnings. I'm assuming this was earnings. See, I would have been bearish here, but this is clearly an earnings call, so I would not have had the trade on. I don't know if this is sustainable. I'm not comfortable here. I would not long. I mean, maybe if you bought in at the open today off the earnings call, but that's always a risky trade because you don't know if it's going to close the gap or not. So I would stay away from it for now. I don't like this downtrend, and this could be very short-lived. The TA is just not there. Okay, that covers Tilray. Okay, best possible entries to buy the dip. I messed up and thought we'll go back to 32.5 to fill the CME gap. Right, so the CME gap is very similar to the GBTC gap. Let's look at this. I can go and look at the CME gap. Yeah, so here's your CME gap. This is clearly looking like a breakaway gap. That's a bullish sign. It went straight up. Are we going to close this gap? I don't know. We don't have to. Guys, we don't have to close CME gaps. Look. Look at this ridiculous CME gap right here. In order to close this gap, the price of Bitcoin would have to fall to here. Okay. Are we going to close that gap? I do not believe that we will. Okay. That's a CME gap. There's also a CME gap down here. Are we going to close this CME gap? And remember, it's not even the top of that candle. It's the bottom of that candle. This takes the price of Bitcoin down to $18,000. Is there another CME gap? Well, of course there is. There it is. There is another CME gap right here. I don't care for the CME gaps. They don't close. It makes no sense for them to close. Here's the CME gap. Who's still waiting for this one to close? That is $11,000. I can go back further.
why in the world does anyone think that CME gaps close? Here's a CME gap, $9,000. Is that one going to close? 9,500. I'm sure there's one down there as well, somewhere. You know? It looks like all of these were closed, or at least mostly closed. This one was as well. Yeah, so there's your gap. I mean, they don't close. Why do people think that they close? It makes absolutely no sense. All right, let's move on. I don't want to waste time on CME gaps. Yeah, it's. I still think there'll be a pullback, but I'm also long in the market, 75% out of 100. So, anticipating a pullback on tomorrow's daily MRI top, do you consider the better strategy to set a stop loss or just sell right away on today's reversal candle? If you were to set a stop loss, where would you put it? So if I was to set a stop loss right now, I would put that stop loss at low of day. So right now, if I'm long into a trade all through here, I will put a stop loss at low of day. Okay, now, otherwise, I would take my profit somewhere above. Because if it consolidates, I would just hold the position. So that's my stop loss. And I would take my profit somewhere at 42.5. If the 42.5 happens in the next 72 hours. If it doesn't, then I don't take that profit. I only take this profit in the next 72 hours because I want to see like a blow off top. And that's my stop loss right now. Now, on a short-term scale, on the 1 hour scale, I could have taken my profit up here at 40.2, but I also would have been bullish here. So on a 1 hour scale, yeah, low of day. Oh, maybe not low of day. Another option is here, just under 39,000. So this is low of day. Okay, that was opening price. So you have two options for a stop loss. Your low of day, which is here, or your, I would let it go just under 39, like here. Technically, I should just say, you know, below the morning low. Oh, I'm sorry, that's yesterday's price. This is low of day. 39, yeah, that's low of day. Yeah, sorry. I didn't see that. Oh, no, that's 1,800. Yeah, that's yesterday. This is today. Yeah, that's low of day. Just under low of day. Just under the low of day. All right, next question. Hey, Tone, I bought some Bitcoin on the MRI bottom on 21/7, so the 21st. At the opening of daily candle, do you think it's time to take profit right now or wait until the close of candle later today? I think I just answered that with a stop loss question. Not trading advice, though. All right, Patrick, you got a bunch of potential MRI buys. Let's go through them. We're going to start with SON, Sunoco. Let's see what's going on. Oh, this looks good. It crashed on earnings. It's bouncing back. It isn't an MRI monthly sell. but the MRI buy came. The MRI buy came a little bit late. I would have loved to see this go down for another day or two and then go up. It's fallen quite a bit. Oil prices are high. Well, Sunoco did go up with the oil price. It looks like a decent trade. Yeah, I would lean bullish here. Not the best of trades, but I'd lean bullish. PVCT. This looks bullish as well. Yeah, see, that's a nice one. Had earnings already. Yeah, it's been going down for a while. It's only a $15 stock. It closed its gap. I don't like today's candle, but yeah, the reason why I like this is because it has a very defined stop loss. Very defined stop loss. You know what? Let me put this on so I don't forget later. This is a long position. Right. See, a stop loss is very defined at the low. So like 15.20. No, a little lower than that. 15.15 or something. Right. That can be a stop loss. And your target can easily be, remember, I don't like targets. I'm just doing this for future reference. So you can enter this thing. No, it's not cherry picked the low. There you go. Yeah, let's see how this works out. I like that MRI top. Remember, this MRI didn't work out. Maybe this one will. Next, HCSG. Oh, that's an MRI buy right here yesterday. That's beautiful. Yep. It's a little bit on a pullback today, but we're going to do the same exercise. See, this is a very low risk trade. Very low risk. This thing can even close the gap. There you go. That one I'm going to message some friends. Yeah, that looks cool. Talk about low risk entries. Now you can give this a little bit of leeway for a red star candle coming down. All right, next. Have me follow up on these like in a week or two if I forget, which I will. Oh, interesting. Yeah, but that's earnings. And it's already down all day. You know, if it closes the gap on earnings, it already fell quite a bit. Do we trust the MRI? Do we go in after earnings? What kind of volume does it have? Very low volume. Interesting. Earnings announced, right? They really should say if it's pre-market or after-market close. Risk might be a little too much. I just randomly picked something. I'm just curious how this works out. SAP. What am I looking at? Nope, wrong stock. Yeah. If you got in right at the break of yesterday's high, this one I'm gonna cheat. The entry should have happened already. See, the stop loss here is tricky. I would put it below these candles. I wouldn't put it all the way back down. Well, this thing you're gonna be holding into new all-time highs. Oh, I take that back. Let's just go with the gap close. Not a great risk reward, but yeah, here we're trusting the green star candle. And MOS, man, I used to trade MOS back in the day. Used to behave very well with the MRI. Weekly, I like it. I would use the daily chart and I would wait for the break of the prior swing highs. I'd wait for a break. I'd probably wait till maybe tomorrow or end of day. All right, nice set of stocks. Sometimes when liquidity crises occur in an economy like March 2020, at that time for a very short period, what solutions do you think there could be? Even if you think printing money is good at specific short time periods. I don't know. I don't have a good solution. The liquid sidechain and Bitcoin can help. It'll spread liquidity across exchanges. Shutting down exchanges certainly helps. BitMEX shut down definitely helped. The price could have easily gone to $1,000 if BitMEX didn't shut down. I don't have good solutions. I mean, Bitcoin just needs to be more liquid. Are mushrooms generally healthy or only specific kinds are? Okay, health questions. You know, I used to think mushrooms were fairly healthy, but I haven't really, I've been staying away from mushrooms. So on my food pyramid, the Tone Vays food diet pyramid, mushrooms are ranked fairly low. They're over here. They're really low. I literally have them less healthy than vegetables. And I have vegetables ranked pretty damn low. I mean, it's better than bread and pasta and potatoes, but I have mushrooms ranked pretty damn low. They're in the avoid section. Yeah, check out the article. It's in my blog. There you go. Do you consider Binance reducing anonymous withdrawal limits a bullish or a bearish sign? Neither. Neither. Bitcoin is driven by speculation, anonymous or not. eBay. Let's look at eBay. I like it. I'm still bullish. Let's see if there can be a blow off top with the MRI. See, the weekly is bullish. The monthly is bullish. eBay is pretty bullish. I'm still bullish eBay. Hey, Javita, I see your hand up. All right, I'll let you ask the question, and then we have some politics and COVID.
Sorry, I actually didn't mean to raise my hand, but hello.
Hi, do you have a question?
No, I don't. Just tuning in today.
Oh, you don't have any questions today? All right. Yeah. I hope your stocks are doing well. All right, let's do some politics. Don't you think judiciary being on government payroll is a conflict of interest? Any better solution? You know, no, there is no better solution. The judiciary is on the government payroll. The problem is assignment of judges. Like, judges should be assigned and voted on democratically by lawyers, and only by lawyers. So lawyers, that have to go up in front of that judge should be voting for the judge. So all judges are elected by lawyers, is what it should be. Because the lawyers can evaluate other lawyers to become judges. The Bitcoin transactions record IP addresses on the blockchain. Can IP addresses be tracker anyhow? I don't believe so, but I'm not the expert for that question. All right, guys, we are out of questions for today. That was it. We can go ahead and call it a day. What do you think? I know I got some work to do. This was fun. I might start utilizing my own notification service. It's kind of in a beta phase right now. This way I can set up portfolios and I can add stuff to it, and we can kind of keep an eye on that. No, got one more question. Why do YouTubers have to use Zoom to live stream? Doesn't YouTube provide live streaming in itself? No, it used to. It doesn't anymore. So we used to stream right from YouTube. They do it on your cell phone, but they kind of ended. It was Google Hangouts, and it kind of died. They removed, I don't know, YouTube just messed up. Zoom just makes it so easy and seamless. The better way to stream is, of course, through OBS, but I find it very complicated, so I just use Zoom. All right, that's it, guys. Thank you all so much for watching. Once again, I'm going to maybe shield my stuff for a minute because this will go public on Sunday. And Bitcoin is still pulling back quite a bit. Still hasn't broken low of day. Let's see how this goes. That's my low of day. Right below 39. So 38.08. Why is this so different? Where is 38.08? Oh, okay. Wait, what is... if this is the start of day, oh, it's not the start of day. The day starts at 8 p.m. That is the start of day. Ah. Okay, so there are two stop loss options. One here at low of a 24-hour day. And then there is the daily candle low, which is yesterday evening. I mean, I don't know if FOMC is bullish or bearish today. It's you let the market decide. You don't guess. Guessing makes no sense. Maybe you shouldn't enter any trades today and wait for that call. All right, guys. Thank you all so much for watching. Check out tonevays.com. That's my food pyramid-ish food building. You have you're in the private Q&A. There's also on-demand videos. There's the MRI. And there's the calendar. All right. Thank you all for watching, and see you all on the next one. All right, and we are recording another private Q&A session for this Friday, July 30th. This will be the last private Q&A before you guys watch it on Sunday on the YouTube channel. Thank you so much for attending. I already see a bunch of questions, some of them trading related, some of them not, and let's get to it. All right, Tone, need your opinion. If a person has bought Bitcoin in country 1, say for example, India, now if he either sells that Bitcoin in country 2, example, Australia or Austria, not sure, or send that Bitcoin to a legal heir in country 2, that Bitcoin gets sold in country 2, will that be okay? Like, will regulators or tax authorities accept Bitcoin bought in country 1, sold in country 2? I honestly don't know the legality of this whole thing. Each country is different. Like there's no global regulation on Bitcoin. So it's all about country 1 and country 2. It depends on the countries. Does it give any difference if you buy and sell was on the same exchange operating in both countries? It should make, I really don't know. I really don't know. You gotta, I mean, you want to try to treat Bitcoin like you treat gold. You should buy it in cash, shouldn't buy it on exchange. Yeah, I really can't answer that question. It's very country specific. Best private messenger, Signal versus Telegram or any other? Do you think Telegram calls are safe? I do. I prefer Telegram over Signal. I like the fact that Telegram, you can use Telegram username based. So it makes it a lot more anonymous. You can create your Telegram account with the phone number. You can then destroy that phone number and you can use a username. And you can make calls with that username to other Telegram people. Telegram has an encrypted secret chat, which should be as good as Signal's. And when you don't need that kind of privacy, Telegram is cross-platform and is way better to use than Signal. It doesn't dox your phone number. I prefer Telegram. That's my messenger of choice. Also, Telegram is Russian, so if you're not in Russia, then does it matter? Like, look, your biggest problem is your slave owner, and your slave owner is the government of your passport. That is your biggest problem. So if you're an American, Russians and the Chinese spying on you doesn't really matter, but the American spying on you matters a lot. If you are Russian, the citizen, the American spying on you or the Chinese spying on you probably doesn't matter. it's the Russians spying on you, right? So it's your slave owner spying on you. That's the problem. So do not use any messenger created by your country, which includes WhatsApp, which is Facebook, which is an American company. This is also why I'm not in a rush to use Signal. I'd rather use a Russian messenger or a Chinese messenger because if you're in America. So it really depends. It's really hard to explain to people why only once a day is healthy. I'm assuming you mean eating. I trust you on this. Any suggestion how to explain that? You know, the science behind once a day eating, I'm assuming you mean eating, is a little bit still questionable. Like some other very notable carnivores don't like this method. There's a great book, The Ultimate Guide to Fasting, talks about short-term fasting, intermediate-term fasting, long-term fasting. Eating once a day works really well for me. It works really well for me. It allows me to be productive all day. I don't have to stop to eat. I don't have to think about food. And then I have one giant meal. And it works really well for me. Now, when I work out hard in the morning, I have a problem not eating until nighttime. So I either move my meal to the afternoon, not that long after my workout, and that's my meal for the day, which makes it difficult to have dinner with people. But eating twice a day is also not that bad. Eating twice a day most of the week, then on the weekends, maybe eat once a day. Or go just get that book. That book will help you explain it. All right, more food and exercise questions. Beautiful. Best exercise at home, in your opinion? Least time of exercise gives most benefit. Easy. Pull-ups. Get a pull-up bar, put it over your bathroom door. Before you shower, do 10 pull-ups. Well, you may have to start with 5 or 2. You can mix it up. You have the overhand, you have the underhand. That is the single best thing you can do, the pull-up. If you want your second best, it's push-ups. If you want a third best at home, you can add some crunches, some abs. If you want a fourth, buy a kettlebell. Buy an adjustable kettlebell and do some kettlebell swings. That is a full body workout. And if you need to, a fifth exercise, you want to add legs into the equation, do some squats. Air squats is fine. You don't need any weights. You could make them harder by doing your squat and then going onto your tippy toes to also work your calves. If you want to make it harder still, do squat jumps, which means you do a full squat. You then go on your tippy toes to work the calves a little bit more, and then you lift off the ground. You don't have to jump and touch the ceiling. You can simply lift off the ground by about 3 to 6 inches, whatever, like that. It's enough, okay? That force off the ground will help work your legs. You'll probably get maybe 50 of those bad boys in. Eventually, you can get that up to a little higher. Probably not even 50 at first. Be lucky to do 20. But those are your at-home exercises. You don't need to buy any weights. You don't need to buy any machines. Push-ups, pull-ups, abs, a kettlebell, and some air squat jumps. Is boiling eggs healthy enough? Does a lot of nutrition get lost when you cook it? Not really. Not that I know of. I'm not a health expert yet. I don't believe that much nutrition is lost when you hard boil an egg. Now, I don't like to hard boil egg yolks, and I don't like to eat raw egg whites. I actually don't like to eat egg whites, period. I don't eat egg whites by choice. So whenever I cook, I always throw the egg whites in the garbage, and I only work with the yolks. And the least I cook those yolks, the happier I am. I want to eat a pure raw egg yolk. And I have no problem eating up to half a dozen. I have no problem eating up to 6 yolks a day. I don't eat them that much, but if I was eating more properly, I'd eat 2 to 3 egg yolks every day, and I wouldn't eat any egg whites. They have no nutrition in them. So for all the egg whites I throw in the garbage, I replace that with salmon, I replace that with bacon, I replace that with whatever healthy food alternative that has vitamins and minerals along with healthy protein. All right. What do I think of the rising wedge in Ethereum? So I covered Ethereum on my public stream, and I did not see any wedge there. I don't look for wedges. I saw a descending triangle, which I drew in the public stream. So go ahead and check that out. Before I move on to other questions, you can go to my blog. You can scroll down, one article down, and find the Tone Vays diet and nutrition plan for 2020. And you see the Tone Vays pyramid, or the Tone Vays weird building of food preferences. Liver number 1, egg yolks number 2, avocados number 3, fish number 4, then shellfish, then meat. I mean, shellfish is probably a little bit healthier than fish, but people are allergic to shellfish, so I have it at number 5. So that is it. So, I mean, I have no problem surviving on just liver, egg yolks, and avocados. That gives me, I believe that would give me all the nutritional diversity I would need. Okay. It's great to have fish. You know, you get some omega-3s as well. The meat part is fully covered by the liver. Like all the vitamins and minerals in meat is in liver. So that pretty much covers most of it. And try to get some fish in. I like oysters, probably the healthiest possible thing you can eat. And that's it. That's all I really need. Yeah, so read this article. All right, next. I sold my BTC bags at a very low entry. You said a pullback around 36K is best. What will have to occur for it to go lower? Well, I don't know what would have to occur for it to go lower, but I am comfortable buying the pullback at around 35, 36. So I hope it kind of gets there to buy that dip. Anything can, I mean, it can go lower. It can go way lower. I just don't believe that it will. Ticker GES. All right, I have another Ethereum question. Tone, ETH and USD. Well, I already took a look at Ethereum, so let's look at USD first. Hey, US dollar is finally going lower. I was starting to lose hope that the dollar would continue to decline. I believe the dollar will continue to decline, but it's really weird because Europe is having bigger lockdowns than the US. And the US dollar is mostly against the euro, so I'm not really sure why it's going to be going down. But it's going down. Oh, Ethereum USD pair. Oh, wait, I have it here. Well, Ethereum USD pair is on the same MRI cell as Bitcoin. Look, all shitcoins are correlated with Bitcoin. So if Bitcoin's going down, Ethereum's going to go down. If Bitcoin starts to go up, Ethereum's going to start to go up. The question is, what is it doing against Bitcoin? And against Bitcoin, it looks really bad. Now we can look at GES. Hey, Edmund, you have your hand up. You still want to say something? After I'll give you my privileges in a few minutes. Ticker GES is at an MRI buy. I do not see an MRI buy. On a weekly, there is an MRI buy. Yes, there is a weekly MRI buy on this ticker. Unfortunately, the week is coming to an end and it's pulling back. So this is not the time to buy. The time to buy was probably early on in the week or potentially last week as it was rallying off the warning candle. I would not buy it today, but if on Monday it's being strong, I would consider buying it then. All right. This is my last question, guys. Unless you throw in one or two more, we're going to be ending it after this. Do you think government subsidies to promote certain specific sector industries, good or bad? I think it's bad. Like if that sector industries are high in demand and less in supply, no, I think it's terrible. Shouldn't they be left to the free market to decide? Yes, of course. Views on black money, unwaxed money. I don't know what that means. Not taking of money earned from bad means. So money is supposed to be neutral. Money is not supposed to be political. You take bad money all the time in your business, right? You have no idea where that cash came from. A drug dealer coming into your store to buy whatever, a car. Well, a car is expensive. A drug dealer coming into your store to buy, say, a gold chain for $1,000 in cash, you're probably going to sell it to him, okay? You don't care where the money came from. You're not going to ask him what he does for a living or she. You may even agree that drugs should be legal. So it's really up to, like you have no idea. And in some countries, drugs are legal. In some countries, they're not. So money is supposed to be neutral. Money is not supposed to take sides. Now, if you don't like a person, you should have the right not to take their money. If you know this person is dealing drugs and you don't like drugs, you don't have to take his money. But it has nothing to do with money.
So I've been seeing quite a lot of traders. What they are saying is that when Bitcoin hits around the 48, 50K region, this could be like the dead cat bounce. If you look at all of the previous histories from that region, it's always been rejected, and then that would be the start of I assume some sort of bear market trend.
Well, that's not exactly true, right? Like here, we kept trying to break 14,000. We got rejected, eventually broke, right? But we never got rejected at 20,000. We just broke. So I guess the sooner we get here, the more likely we are to get rejected. And yeah, I do believe we'll get rejected somewhere in the $50,000 range. But it's not going to last long. And I still think 100K around end of year.
Oh, right. Fair enough, I guess. Cool.
All right, Rashul, go for it.
Hey, Tone, what are your views on exports? Like, obviously, increasing exports are very good for an economy. That is a basic thing. But like, doesn't increasing exports incentivizes the government to, devalue the money like China does? And like, that is bad for the people of the country.
Yes, that's always been the case, right? Governments devalue the money in order to increase exports. This happens all the time. All the time. So governments love devaluing the money so that they can increase the exports. And this is the big battle that most countries have. Right? They're all competing to debase their money in order to increase their exports.
Your views are absolutely amazing. I don't know, like, you have a lot of knowledge which should be respected,
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
I really recommend you read Martin Armstrong's blog. I wouldn't follow his trading advice, but you may want to check out Martin Armstrong's blog to just have a more sound fundamental understanding of money and economics.
I'm just afraid if I start reading it from like today, so I'll not understand like if I don't read the past articles.
No, that would be impossible because he's been writing since, I don't know, the early 90s. And then he spent 11 years in prison and he was still kind of writing while in there. So it'll be impossible for you to read it all.
Yeah.
But just get, sometimes it's better to just start and then see how it goes.
Thanks a lot.
All right. All right, guys. I got to jump on an interview at the top of the hour. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all on the next one. Bye, guys.